And it's a little hot for him to be doing this, but I guess he ain't gonna quit. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hidden Heights Farm Vlog. And I keep getting a lot of requests about, let's talk about goats. So I'm getting a lot of questions on the comments and on our Facebook page and stuff, and that's good. That's what we want. And one of the ones I'm getting right now is a lot of people's dealing with all this heat. We're in northeast Oklahoma and it hit 97 degrees today. Super humid. The grass is kind of drying. Still got plenty of grass for the animals to graze on and stuff, but our ponds are just about dry, and that's what I want to talk about today. How do goats deal with extreme summer heat? This is pretty much as hot as it's going to get. 97 degrees. I think next week it's supposed to be like 103, and you know, really that's not a lot of difference. It is super hot, but I'm kind of going to talk about a little bit of things. The main thing you want to do is make sure your goats got shelter, shade, and water. So let's go get some feed for Daisy. We'll walk over to the Spanish goats and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. Alright guys, so we're out here at the Spanish goat pasture, and you guys that follow us know that all of our Spanish goats are pretty much like 99% black. And if you know anything about black, it draws a lot of heat, especially from the sun. So you can imagine how hot these goats get out here in the sun all day long. You know, we are fortunate and blessed with all these big oak and hickory trees, so they get a lot of shelter and shade from the trees. You know, it's pretty sunny right now. The sun's going down, but I'm not even close to a tree, but I'm still in the shade. Sun's going down, of course, but what these goats do have the advantage of here where we live, they still got a lot of Bermuda and fescue all under these trees. So you know, they can graze and still be in the shade at the same time. And Daisy's patiently waiting on her food, so let me get her fed real quick. What are you eating there, Tiny? Everybody's wanting to update on Tiny. There's Tiny and Oosty, her little baby. Look how big her horns are getting. Show them your horns there, girl. Not you, Daisy. Oosty. There's your feed. You want some eggs? Hmm? Want some eggs? Come here. You can't lay on your food. She just wants her belly scratched. She says, heck with the food. It's too hot to eat. Hold on, girl. So these are eggs that was in the chicken coop for more than a day, and with the temperatures being as hot as they are, we're not going to take a chance on eating them because some of them get a little bloody because they start incubating already. So we just feed them to the dogs. Alright, so everybody else is coming up for dinner, which I'm not feeding them right now. It's so hot. They got all this grass. It's summertime, so they're eating grass. But let's look at Oosty if she'll come to us here. Come here, girl. Come here. She's usually coming up and jumping on us, and then you got old Daisy here. Yeah, I see you. Your breath smells like stinky old eggs. Good girl. There you go, Oosty. So guys, this was the little bitty baby black goat, if you guys watched the video. And everybody knows Tiny. Tiny was the little goat that was bottle raised, and most of the other goats are mean to her because she interacts with humans all the time. I promise I'll pet you here in a minute, girl. Go eat your food before the buck eats it. And so, alright, let me start over. So Tiny was a bottle baby. So a lot of the other goats don't like her because she comes and runs to me whenever we come out here, and the other goats don't like that. So she finally had her baby and she got her buddy. This is Usti, her little baby. And for those of you that are new, Usti, it means little in Cherokee. So, yeah, you're a sweetheart. She's a really, really, really good little baby goat. Alright. Alright. So guys, the main thing, like I said earlier, shade. Your goats got to be able to get out of the sunshine. If you have nothing but bare pasture, don't have any lean-tos or sheds or anything to get to, your goats are going to get way too hot. And that can cause a lot of problems, and you don't want that. Second thing, water. You guys know we got several different tanks of water we leave out for our animals. We have more goats over here of the bigger goats, so I have a bigger water tank over here. And as you can see, even the bees come over here and get a drink when it's like as dry as it is right now. And I need to wash this tank out, so I'm going to dump it and spray it down a little bit and kind of rinse it out. Alright guys, so I got this water emptied out, and you can see I got a lot of algae in here, so I got a rag. I'm going to get to scrubbing this thing, and we'll talk a little bit about this watering process. Alright guys, so it looks like we got a doe in heat, and this buck is hot on her trail. And we weren't really wanting to breed back these Spanish does this year, but we do have this barn, so if they do have babies in the wintertime, we can't stick them in this barn, so it's not really a big deal. And these Spanish goats are very hardy, so they should do fine. It is pretty soon to breed goats. Like I said, their babies are only like 3 months old, but if they're coming back in, this is all natural, so we're going to let it take place. But this is usually what it looks like when this buck gets a scent of a doe that is ready to breed, and you can see what he's doing with his actions. He's hot on her trail, and I can kind of smell him. He's putting off a little scent. I haven't noticed him chasing any of the other does, but he is on this one's trail, and she's not really standing for him, so which means she isn't just standing there and letting him breed her. So I don't know if he'll actually get the job done or not, but he probably won't give up until he does. So, and I got a little friend here that keeps bothering me. She keeps pulling at my leg here. Little Usti. You want to be on the camera again? Come here, girl. Alright. So he is just not going to give up until she stands still for him and he gets the job done. It looks like. Don't be running to me. And it's a little hot for him to be doing this, but I guess he ain't gonna quit. Usually when you have one doe that's ready to breed, most of your does all come in at the same time, but I've only seen him chasing this one today. So let's get back to this water. I'm gonna ignore him for a little bit. Alright guys, so I just got done scrubbing their water trough out. It had a lot of red algae and scum all over it. It happens if it sets out in the sun. So it happens if the water sets out in the sun, it's gonna get algae in it, and that was the case here. But as you can see, I got it all cleaned out. And let me talk about this automatic waterer. I know I've talked about it in the past, but let's talk about it again. So this is a little giant automatic waterer, and I know I've talked about this in the past, guys, but this is something that is awesome to have if you have livestock. And you can't really use it in the winter time, but for summertime it is perfect. And the way it works is once the water level gets up to here, it closes off a valve. When the animals and the livestock come drink it down and it goes down below this little float valve, this red little float valve where my finger is, it drops down and it opens up a valve. And I just leave that water hose on full time, and they always have fresh, cool water to drink. The main thing is keeping these cleaned out in the summertime so you don't get that algae. I'm sure it don't taste great, but I just wanted to show you guys this because I get a lot of questions on how do we make sure our goats have plenty of water in the summertime, because we don't have real big ponds, and our ponds don't always stay full, especially when it gets really hot and it don't rain a lot in the summertime here. So let's go over to the Kikos. I don't have a big water trough over there, but I only do have 7 of the Kikos, so they don't go through the large amount of water like these Spanish goats do. And all these Spanish goats have babies on their side right now, so they're going through the water like crazy because they're still producing milk. But you can see everybody's out here grazing for the evening time. And what's nice about that water I just showed you guys is clean your tank out. If you got a big tank, it's going to take a little bit to fill up. Walk away, because you know that valve's going to shut the water off. And you can test it just like I did. You know, I held it up with my hand. That's just mimicking the water level, pushing that valve shut. And you guys seen it shut off. So I don't have to worry about it causing a huge water bill or nothing. I can walk off and just leave it. It'll fill up and shut off. You guys see that camouflage goat laying in the grass? I don't know what that's all about. What are you doing? That's just little Oosty. She's the only one that wants to be friendly. Well, you know, One Sock, huh? There you go, girls. These Kikos are really friendly. It looks like I just stirred up a wasp nest. Yep, there's a wasp nest underneath this solar charger here. And I just really pissed them off. I don't need to be getting stung no more, that's for sure. Alright guys, so I don't do a lot of videos on these Kiko goats, but these are some beautiful, beautiful goats. These are some big bodied Kiko nannies. The 3 smaller ones are still, they're just yearlings. And of course we got these 2 here, Tawny and One Sock, and these 2 are some friendly Kiko nanny goats, and they're pretty big bodied Kikos. I think they're going to have some really pretty kids. I don't know if we're going to breed these 2, or I don't know if we're going to breed our all of our nanny Kikos to our Spanish buck, or what we're going to do this year. So if you guys follow Daniel at Arms Family Homestead, he has got a new herd sire for his Kiko herd of goats that he's going to bring back to his nannies. And if you guys watched one of his videos that he just posted a little while back of him actually bringing that Kiko goat home to his farm and letting it out, he showed he had 2 younger Kiko bucks that he had born on his farm earlier this year. So that might be something I try to do. I might see if Daniel's willing to sell that Kiko. And if we decide to breed our Kiko nannies to another Kiko buck, we might try to buy that Kiko off Daniel. I don't know yet. We're going to have to see. But I'm over here. I'm going to go ahead and clean their water out too. This makes good practice to clean out all the water bowls on all your livestock at the same time. If you're doing it, you might as well do them all. One thing you want to consider though is if you got any sick animals, do not use the same thing that you used to clean the other goats, water troughs or feed troughs or anything else out. You always want to keep everything quarantined that's sick. So if you know you got sick goats or you think you might have a sick goat, don't use the same rag or the same brush or sponge or whatever to clean their water troughs out with. Try to get a clean one. That way you don't pass whatever disease or virus or whatever you got going on to your other healthy goats. But I'm going to get this cleaned out and we'll talk a little bit more about these Kikos. Alright guys, so I got their water trough all cleaned out. I'm going to let that fill up. It's going a little bit slow because I got the other one still filling up as well. But let's go look at these Kikos. So we got these Kikos on Memorial Day of this year. So we've had them for what? 3 months I guess. and they're still doing great. I do not believe they were bred. When we did purchase them, they were with the buck. If you guys have been following us and seen that video, when we brought this whole herd home in the trailer and we doctored them before we let them out, he was an awesome looking buck, but he was super huge, and that's not the direction we want to go with our goats. That's the whole reason we got these goats, is because we used to raise hair sheep, and the hair sheep got so big, and the nanny or the ewes, when we tried to doctor them and stuff, it was just a lot of work for me and Rachel. So we decided to sell all those and go with the Spanish goats. And our Spanish goats are DNA registered, but we ran across this awesome deal on these Kikos, and we really liked the way they look. So we went ahead and purchased these 7 nannies and that 1 buck. We sold that 1 buck, and we still have these 7 nannies. So I don't know if we're going to put the Spanish buck in here to breed them or not. That was our goal, is to see what the cross would look like between the full-blood Spanish and the full-blood Kikos. You guys can see how big-bodied. This one is probably one of the bigger ones. They're all about this size except for the yearlings. And she actually looks pregnant, but I don't know if she's pregnant or if she's just really healthy, you know. But anyways, because I do not grain feed these goats at all. These goats are 100% grass right now. I do feed them here and there a little bit of grain just to get them close to me, to do a little bit of a health inspection on them. Check everything, check their hooves, check their eyes, make sure they're not wormy, which the Kikos and the Spanish, we never have problems with the worms. And that's why we chose to go with those 2 breeds. But the Kikos aren't super friendly. Like I said, we do not feed them hardly ever, only when we need to. Right, guys? But you can see they're super slick looking. They're doing great. That one right there, this little paint colored one, she is going to look awesome when she gets full grown. She's going to throw some pretty babies. I think if we put that black buck with her, I think the babies will look really good. But anyways, guys, that's just a little bit about these Kikos. I'm going to go ahead and let this water fill up. It's going to take a little bit. Alright, one quick thing. If you want to make friends with the goat, get you some oak leaves, some green oak leaves. Let's see if they like them. Let's see here. There, girl. Oh yeah, here comes another one. Hey, oh, here you go. Dropped one. Good girl. See there, they love the green oak leaves. And one thing awesome about goats, guys, one more thing before I get off here is, if you look at all these trees around me, these things are trimmed up. I'm right at 6 foot tall. Look how high these goats can eat these leaves. It's crazy. They will clean up a brushy pasture in a heartbeat. And I only got 7 over here, and every one of the trees on this side, you guys can see, is clear all the way up. They eat the sticks, the stems, the leaves, everything. So that's one good benefit about having goats, is you usually don't have to brush hog, and they kind of do clean up your pasture, because they would rather have the roughage than eat the grass. They want the weeds and all the stuff that most cattle people don't want. So if you run goats with cows, it's actually a benefit. All right, guys, so real quick before I go, I just want to talk about this. This is one of our oldest goats right here that was born this spring. And you can see he's 3 months old, and look how big his horns are. That's Ollie. Look how fast their little horns grow. He's going to be a nice looking buck. And we are going to have a few bucks for sale. I think we're going to have at least 4 that we're going to sell. So if anyone is looking for full blood black Spanish goats. So the babies that we will have for sale are 3/4 Koi and 1/4 Sifan lines of these Spanish goats. And like I said, we'll have 4 or maybe 5 of these babies for sale. If anyone's wanting to start their own DNA registered herd of Spanish goats, we'll have some bucks for sale, and they should be some pretty good bucks. They're out of this buck here, and he is just a young buck. You know, his horns and all that's not even fully grown out yet, but his genetics are really good. So hopefully these babies will grow up and be big as well and look great. But anyways, guys, that's just the basics I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about, is summertime and goats. You know, other livestock's pretty much the same, but we're talking about goats here. So use common sense. Every animal has to have water. Every animal don't deal with the heat real well. These goats come from down in South Texas off huge ranches that are nothing but dirt and mesquite trees and rocks. You know, they don't even feed them. They don't grain them. They don't give them hay. They survive in the winter and the summertime without any human, you know, interaction pretty much. So that being said, these goats, you can consider them being pampered here. You know, they got a nice barn to get in out of the rain. They got hay when in the wintertime. They got all this grass. They got all these trees, and these are the same as the Kikos. If you look around, there ain't a leaf under 6 foot tall hanging from a tree hardly, especially the Spanish buck. I think he can get up to about 8 foot when he really stands on his back legs and gets to eating. But back to the point of this video, summertime and goats, main thing, shade, water, and if it rains a lot in the springtime and you don't have Spanish or Kiko goats, and even if you do, you really need to check for worms. Worms can get really bad when it's really wet, so just keep an eye on that. The Spanish and Kiko are very parasite resistant, especially if you do pasture rotation. That's the best thing you can do, which we haven't been doing it this year. We need to get some more fencing done, but we do keep a close eye on them, and we haven't had any parasite problems. What do you think, Daisy? Huh? Can't get enough, can you? So guys, that's pretty much all I really want to talk about, to try to hit on some of the questions everybody was asking me. You know, how do you keep your goats safe in the summertime with extreme heat? Like I said, it was 97 degrees today. You can see all these goats are out eating, got fresh water all the time. You have to make sure they have fresh water. When it gets this hot, they gotta have fresh water 24/7. You know, goats don't always just sit at a water hole and drink. They'll go out and graze, and they do get a little bit of moisture content out of the grass, but they still gotta have fresh water to drink. And look at Tiny here. Tiny said, it's too hot, I'm done grazing for the night. She's ready for bed. What do you think, Tiny? You tired, girl? All right, guys, so the sun's going down. I'm gonna end this video. If you guys got any more goat questions, or you guys are considering getting goats but you want to find out some more information, feel free to email us or send us a Facebook message or leave a question down below. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions. We've been doing this a while. We're not experts by no means, but we do know a lot about goats, I guess you could say. And there are a lot of opinions. You know, everybody raises goats different. So, you know, if you see something that you guys don't like or whatever, go ahead and say something, but everybody does do something different, just to throw that out there. And you guys might watch other videos where other people do, you know, different techniques and raise their herd different. But this is the way that works best for us, so that's the way we practice it. Feel free to learn from our mistakes. You know, we try to share everything on the farm, from the good and the bad. Try to keep it 100% real for you guys. But that being said, guys, if you're new, we'd like you guys to please subscribe to our channel and watch some of our older videos. Check out our future videos. Click the notification bell. That way you guys know when we post a new video. It'll give you a little pop-up on your cell phone or your laptop or whatever, your tablet. And guys, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to do this without you guys at all. And you guys make it awesome. You guys make this YouTube fun. So we'll catch you on the next video, guys.